Let's imagine the life of someone born in 1890 and living into their 80s in the 1970s. Over the course of their lifetime, they witnessed extraordinary change, both in the world around them and in the way people lived, connected, and understood themselves. This remarkable span of time reshaped not just technology and society, but also how individuals navigated their relationships and sense of belonging. When they were born in 1890, life was defined by traditions and community. Transportation relied on horses and steamships, and handwritten letters were the main way to communicate across distances. Daily life revolved around the rhythm of local communities. People depended on one another to share the burdens of work and to solve problems. If a neighbor was known to have a habit of borrowing and forgetting to return things, the community adapted. Yet these tightly knit communities weren't without their complexities. On one hand, they often accepted people as they were, quirks and all. If someone was known to be an alcoholic or a little untrustworthy, neighbors would still interact with them, often with a sense of understanding or even humor. People recognized each other's flaws, but maintained connections because community life required everyone's participation. On the other hand, these communities also had unspoken rules about how one should behave. There was often a community ideal, a person or type of a person who embodied the values, respectability, or success that others were subtly encouraged to emulate. This might have been the industrious farmer, the dutiful housewife, or the pious churchgoer. Those who conformed to these ideals enjoyed a higher standing in the community, while those who deviated too far risked being the subject of gossip or judgment. This created a tension. While people were generally included, despite their imperfections, there was still an underlying pressure to fit within certain norms. It's not unlike how society today idolizes celebrities or influencers, individuals who represent what many aspire to but who also set expectations that can feel restrictive or unattainable. As modernization progressed, the bonds that held these communities together began to loosen. Urbanization and industrialization pulled people towards cities and away from the small towns and villages where everyone knew each other. Mobility opened up new opportunities, but it also left behind the familiarity and interdependence of community life. Tasks that once brought neighbors together, like harvesting crops, raising barns, or taking care of children, were increasingly handled alone or outsourced to professionals and institutions or technology. This shift offered more freedom and independence, but it also introduced a new kind of isolation. The face-to-face connections that once defined daily life gave way to more transactional relationships. While this reduced some of the gossip and judgment associated with close-knit communities, it also removed the sense of being deeply known and accepted, flaws and all. By the 1970s, the world looked entirely different. Cars and airplanes had transformed transportation, phones had revolutionized communication, and televisions brought the wider world into people's homes. These changes opened up new opportunities for education, work, and leisure, but they also contributed to the decline of deeply interconnected communities of the past. Despite these challenges, our imagined individual found ways to adapt. They lived through wars, economic crises, and technological revolutions, each of which demanded resilience and creativity. They learned to embrace new inventions like electricity, cars, and appliances that transformed daily life. At the same time, they carried with them the lessons of their early years, the importance of human connection, cooperation, and mutual support. This lifetime offers us valuable lessons today. First, it reminds us of the adaptability of the human spirit. If someone born in 1890 could transition from horse-drawn carriages to jet planes, they teach us what we too can adapt to, the rapid changes in our own time. Second, it highlights the importance of connection. While traditional communities had their limitations, they provided a sense of belonging and acceptance that is increasingly rare today. In a world that often prioritizes efficiency and speed, we must not forget the value of seeing and accepting one another as we are. Finally, this story teaches us to seek balance. Technology and independence are powerful tools, but they must be paired with empathy and connection. The warmth of human relationships is irreplaceable no matter how advanced our society becomes. In reflecting on the life of someone born in 1890 living into the 1970s, we see a story of extraordinary transition. They experienced a world redefined many times over, yet they adapted, found meaning, and connected with others. Their life reminds us that even in the face of profound change, it's the human connections we build that sustain us.